All right. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So day 3, and this is Psalm chapter 3. And just a quick little apologize for yesterday's video getting cut short like it did. I will make sure that I have my situation set up so that doesn't happen. I had an alarm go off on my phone and realized that's what cut it off. So I'll make sure I got no alarms going before I do the reading. So, so today on Shabbat it'll be around this time on Shabbat morning, and then tomorrow morning it'll probably be sometime between 7 and 9 a.m. Mountain Time. So it'll be between 6 and 8 West Coast time and between 8 and 10 East Coast time. So, all right, so Psalm chapter 3. Now, as it speaks in here, this is a Psalm of David when he fled from Absalom, his son. And if you're not familiar with who Absalom is the one who wanted to kill his father and become king. He also is the one who raped his sister. Absalom raped his own sister. So Yehovah, and of course this is David talking, Yehovah, how they have increased who trouble me. Many are they who rise up against me. Many are they who say of me, there is no help for him in El. But you, O Yehovah, are a shield for me, my glory, and the one who lifts up my head. I cried to Yehovah with my voice, and he heard me from from his holy hill. I lay down and slept. I awoke, for Yehovah sustained me. I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people who have set themselves against me all around. Arise, O Yehovah, save me, my El, for you have struck all my enemies on the cheekbone. You have broken the teeth of the ungodly. Salvation belongs to Yehovah. Your blessing is upon your people. So let's start breaking this down. Now, basing it off of what David was referring to, what's going on with his son Absalom. If we take this into our own personal life and in our own walk, we have that David is fleeing for his life. He's trying to hide from his son and the people with his son who are trying to take David's life. And Yah is showing us that we do not have to be afraid of anything or anyone. I mean, David was made king for all the days of his life. And David, clearly scripture says that David had a heart like unto Yah's. But in our flesh, we tend to, it always creeps in. We get afraid of the things around us, the things that we see, because it's so much easier to get distracted by the stuff that's around us physically, the stuff that we can see with our eyes, than to stay focused on what is unseen, and that's Yehovah or Yeshua. And to know that he guards us and protects us. Psalm 91 verses 7 and 8 is a very similar situation to this. It says, 1,000 will fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come nigh you. And we have to know that the day that we were born was ordained by Yah. The day that we will die is ordained by Yah. There's no way that man or anything or Hasatan himself can kill you sooner than what Yah intends for you to be your last day of breathing. Even we see that with Job, that even Satan had to go and ask permission from Yah to even touch Job, to do anything to him. And unfortunately, we tend to give a little too much authority to the enemy. Now, don't get me wrong, he's still authoritative. He still has power. Even in the book of Jude, Michael says that Michael did not accuse Hasatan directly, but said, Yehovah rebuke you. And that's how we need to handle him, in the name of Yehovah, not by arrogance or cockiness, thinking that we can just go toe to toe with him, because we can't. He would defeat us easily. But we go toe to toe with him in the name of Yehovah, because he fears that name above all names. He fears who that character is, who he is, because he knows that he doesn't have a prayer against him. And in all his pride and all his arrogance, thinking he's still going to do something, because since the beginning, when he first he wanted to take Yah's throne and was cast out of heaven, he is still to this day thinking that he's going to do something to avert Yehovah's plans and what he has set into place. And it won't happen. We have to think upon that. We have to remember that. We have to keep that in the forefront of our mind, about understanding who the true divine protector is, and who it is that we do not have to be afraid of. So, as it says, Yehovah, how they have increased. Michaela, come take care of this meowing cat. Yehovah, how they have increased who trouble me. Many are they who rise up against me. Many are they who say of me, there is no help from him in God. We have people come against us all the time in this way. You know, people who talk the things that they say, who do the things that they say, who try to say that you have no hope. You know, they speak against El. They speak against his ways. They speak against the purposes that we have in Yehovah. But yet they know not what they talk about. They know not what they speak of. And you cannot give ear to these things. You cannot give even a platform to those who would speak such things, because they speak as a fool, as scripture says. I mean, there's no greater. Michaela? Sorry. You know, scripture says that a fool, it has many words and is wise in his own eyes. It's because they don't see Yah before them. They don't give knowledge. They don't give understanding to who the one that gives them breath is. So, all right. So, but you, O Yehovah, are a shield for me, my glory, and the one who lifts up my head. Man, I come back to Psalm 91 in this. Verse 1 that says that he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. That is the greatest place that we can be. That is the only place to ever be, is to be in the secret place of the Most High and dwell under the shadow of the Almighty, because that is our protection. That is everything to keep us safe. And then on top of that, the armor, the shield of faith. And what is faith? Faith is an action verb, emunah. It's to trust and walk out everything that his word is. And like we talked about in Triple T last night, you know, when we walk in obedience to his word, when we build on that relationship between us and Yehovah, when we chase after him with all of our heart, willing to make sacrifice of anything in our walk that would even displease him, then we have the assurance of a shield that is powerful and strong and cannot be penetrated by the fiery darts of the enemy. Let's see. My glory and the one who lifts up my head. So, but you, O Yehovah, are a shield for me. You're my glory and the one who lifts up my head. I cried to Yehovah with my voice, and he heard me from his holy hill. Now, there's something else I wanted to. Okay, I haven't reached that yet. A lot of times I've seen so many people say that they feel like their prayers don't break the ceiling above their head. And that's another thing of where faith comes in. Our faith is not based on our emotions. Our faith is not based on how we feel when we wake up that morning. However way you woke up this morning, you woke up and you felt great. Does that mean your faith is even greater? No, your faith is based off of how you walk out your life. It is based off of what is absolute. It's not based off of your emotions and what feels good and what doesn't. If you wake up in the morning and you feel weak and everything else, that doesn't dictate your faith unless you allow it to. Faith is not based on our emotions. Faith is based on how we walk out the word and believe that Yehovah is what he says he is, does what he says he will do, and his word does not come back unto him void. Amen. I lay down and slept. I awoke, for Yehovah sustained me. Again, every morning that Yehovah we awake is because he gave us permission to open up our eyes to another day. Amen. He's the one that sustains us through the night and gives us deliverance. I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people who have set themselves against me all around. You know, a great example of this, I'd have to say, would be like Daniel and even, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You know, when they stood before King Nebuchadnezzar, and the decree went out that when all the land would hear the music and everything, everyone was to bow down before the statue of Nebuchadnezzar. And every time that happened, Daniel and those three, you know, they wouldn't do it. No, they would not bow. They would not give in to idol worship. They stood out, 10,000s against them, and they would not waver in their obedience to Yehovah. And so Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, as we all know, Nebuchadnezzar was angry and cast them into the fire. Not a hair on them was singed. I mean, think about this for a second. I mean, really, if you have a fireplace, next time you have a fireplace or whatever, like out on the farm when I grew up out in Ray, Colorado, out on the farm, we had this big, massive pit, probably about 20 feet by 20 feet, probably a good almost 10 feet deep. And back then, the farms, you know, to burn garbage, because they didn't have a garbage truck that come around and stuff back in the day. And so they would throw all of their garbage in the pits and they'd burn it till it was all ash. And you picture a big old pit like that, and you picture it's just the whole thing is full with fire. And these three men were thrown into the furnace of like this, and they walked around in it. They walked around, and it says that the ropes burned from them that bound them, but not a hair was singed on their head. Their clothes did not even have the smell of smoke, nothing, not a mark. If we really believe what Scripture says, and we really trust, and the stories that we read of what happened in the days of old, you know, Noah and the flood, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, Daniel in the lion's den, all of these things, if we really believe this, then we should never, ever be afraid. There should never be any fear of anything that man can do against us. And just like when we discussed about Israel last night, and if Yah has called you into the land, not the laws of the land or anybody else can supersede Yehovah's Torah. Man does not have power that they can stop what Yah has declared to be done. Cut and dry. If he says go, we go. If he says this is where I will have you, this is where I will use you, then that's what exactly is going to happen if you go in obedience. It's that simple. It's that cut and dry. It's that black and white. Let's see. So arise, O Yehovah, save me, my El. You have struck all my enemies on the cheekbone. You have broken the teeth of the ungodly. Salvation, Yeshuot, is the word there in Hebrew, belongs to Yehovah. Your blessing is upon your people. Exodus 19:5, Yehovah said, if you will heed my voice and keep my covenant, then you shall be a special treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. This is the thing that we have to remember. This is the thing that you have to think upon. You think of anything or anyone who is the most special treasure to you in your life. And in your finite power, would you not do everything to take care of it, protect it, watch over it, and everything? Now, amplify that a gazillion times over of the God of creation, of the one who gave us breath to breathe. And he says, you are a special treasure unto me above all people if you will walk in obedience to me, heed my voice and keep my covenant. And he will break the teeth of our enemies and their cheekbone. In Isaiah, it talks about ultimately our greatest enemy. And it says that we will look upon the one and say, this is the one who brought fear to the nations. And we will look at him and laugh. So Mishpachah, as you go about today, throughout the rest of your Shabbat, as you ponder upon the word, I encourage you, as always, each day as I do a psalm, go back and read it for yourself. Have that time alone and say, Abba, what do you want me to get out of this chapter? And think about it. Take the time. Read each verse. Try to break it down in your own understanding. We're all in a different place in our walk and in our path. And where you're at, Yah will speak to you through his word. Amen. So go and study. Go and read. Go and ponder on the word of Yehovah. Fill your thoughts. Let the words of Yah come from your lips from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. Be constant in prayer and supplication unto him without ceasing. And the enemy doesn't have anywhere to enter into. So may you have a blessed and awesome rest of your Shabbat. We'll see you this afternoon for our service. Brother Anthony is got an amazing message to preach this afternoon. So with that, we love you all. Shabbat shalom, shalom, shalom.